Well, good morning, everybody, and what an absolutely splendiferous and fantastic day it is today. As you can see, this is not my usual backdrop. We're actually away at the moment on holiday. We've decided to take a week, and if anybody knows me, they'll know that I love nothing more than spending some time in the lap and luxury of Mother Nature. So, the forest you see behind me at the moment, or part of the forest that you see behind me at the moment, is the very well renowned and well known Sherwood Forest, and I say renowned because obviously anybody who knows their history or is into myth and legend will know that this is the very forest that Robin Hood and his merry men frequented. In actual fact, not far from here, probably about a mile, is the Major Oak, and the Major Oak is said to be the actual tree or the main spot where they hung out, for want of a better explanation. So anyway, you find me here today, surrounded by nature, completely cocooned by Mother Nature, with Lily, in the lap and luxury of Mother Nature, as I say, just enjoying the environment. But I'm not going to be talking about Sherwood Forest today, even though I sort of had to sort of edge onto it a bit to let you know where we were and to make an explanation of my backdrop. But yes, so today I want to give you another paranormal story time, actually. And this one is, I don't know how to explain it. This is very odd, and this happened during the course of the day. So let me give you a little bit of a rundown, a little bit of an idea. I used to belong to a team years and years ago, and the team had many members. It had about 10, 12 members in this paranormal research team. And one of the members, who's a very good friend of mine, was actually called Mike. And Mike was I think he still is in the police force, but he was a sergeant at the time. Now, I make a point of saying that Mike was a policeman because I want you to know that obviously people like servicemen, policemen, people in the military, anybody, they are trained to take down information with their eyes and analyse everything that they see before they make a judgment or pass an opinion upon it. And of course, Mike was well trained for this. So, anyway, to get back to the original story, we were given an address by a friend of ours in the team, and he said to us, "Look, you've got to go to this gym." It was a gym that was in Stevenage in Hertfordshire, and it was a boxing gym. And he said, "Look, you've got to go there because there's two ladies that work upstairs in the office, and they are terrified. And between you and I, so are a lot of the actual people that go there to train." Now, a lot of these were semi and professional boxers. So these are big tough guys, big tough women. You know, they're not sort of frightened of anything. You know, if you're going to get into the ring and let somebody punch seven colours out of you and then try and punch seven colours out of them, you're not going to be worried too much about anything, I would think. But for some reason, this perplexed them. It terrified them. And, you know, that's the case with anything that we don't know, anything that we have no understanding of, anything that isn't in our sphere, that we can't touch, taste and see, and we have no explanation for, then, you know, we're generally frightened of it. But as I always said, in my opinion, there's nothing to be frightened or worried about. If it's there, it's natural. It's what Mother Nature decrees, so it's fine. So anyway, myself and Mike rolled up to this gym. It was completely innocuous, really. It was just a boxing gym on the middle of an estate in Stevenage. And we walked around it, had a scout around the outside just to check the sort of area, make sure everything was, give ourselves a sort of an outlay of the property. And then we went inside, got buzzed up by one of the ladies upstairs in the office. Now, the office, I said, you go up the stairs and the office is to the right. Now, the office itself didn't have any windows, but if you come out of the office, you've got like a viewing gallery, so you can look down into the gym. And it's got a boxing ring, it's got all the paraphernalia that you would find in a boxing gym. But it was closed up because it was during the day. It was closed up, it was pitch black, and they didn't actually have that many people that wanted to go there and train or what have you on their own. Now, this girl was terrified. She was physically shaking. And one of the things that we do, and I've explained to you guys before, that we have a checklist that we run down when we're doing an investigation. And what we do is we look for things like Well, we look for things like we evaluate the person, their self. Not that we're psychiatrists, but we do it to the best of our abilities. And obviously, Mike, being a policeman, pretty spot on about his evaluation of people, and because he's trained for it, as you know. So we came away. Two girls that were there actually. They were both terrified. They wouldn't go anywhere near the gym. In fact, when they came out of the office, they didn't even want to look to the right to look through the viewing gallery. They just kept their heads to the left, looked to the stairwell, and straight down it, straight out. This is I suppose this was their safety and protection mechanism. So we were doing this interview with her. Her voice was very, very, how would you explain it now? Tremulous. You know, you could see, you could hear the fear. You can almost taste the fear coming out of this girl. She was absolutely terrified, as was her friend. So we were just talking, and I said to her, well, you know, okay, so what I'd like you to do, please, is give us a rundown on the type of activity you get here. Now, with this, we've heard this almighty bang down from the gym. Bearing in mind, it's locked up, it's all been checked, there's nobody in there. And the person with the key wasn't her, it was her boyfriend, who was a boxer. So I said, what? So yeah, so anyway, we've heard this massive bang, and she's looked at me and she went, that's the type of activity we have in here. So I got up and I said to Mike, we need to have a look at this, but we can't get in, we need to look at the viewing gallery. So we went out to the viewing gallery and we looked in, and you could see, I don't know what you would call it, like a punch bag with a, I don't know, like a strap on either side type. I don't know, I'm not a boxer, never have been, even though I've got the face of one. But you could see it physically, like somebody hit it. This thing was toing and throwing, moving in at the most unbelievable rate of knots. So there was some energy to hit this thing. There must have been something with a lot of energy and a lot of anger, I would think. So okay, so she got in contact with her boyfriend, and he apparently was on the way with the keys to the gym, because we wanted to get in there. We wanted to do a daytime investigation or a recce, a reconnaissance in there, so that we could get some information to relay back to our team. So we had lots and lots of things. I at the time had something called an Ovilus, and the Ovilus was a machine that had a bank of words in it. And I think it was, I can't remember how many words, something like 500. If you've got one or you know anything about them, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's definitely a bank of words in it, and I think it might be 500 words. And they were just random words, and the Ovilus, the idea of the Ovilus was that it was a machine that could be easily manipulated by energies, by spirit energy, and they could go into the bank and utilise the words that were recorded into it. And we noticed that, and it was the first time we noticed it, was at this gym. So you would go in there and there'd be like a word like bike in the Ovilus, and then it would come up with the word bike, and then you go, oh, okay, bike, so what does that mean? So you kind of put it together. But this Ovilus, well, I'll tell you more about it in a minute. This Ovilus, and this was the first place we noticed it, broke its bank of words and started creating its own words, to the point that it was coming up with sort of sentences. This was odd. This wasn't designed for this. This was designed for basically letting spirit utilise certain words that were in there. There was no room for creation. This thing had taken on a mind of its own. Anyway, getting back to the gym. So the boyfriend turned up, and he was upstairs talking to us, and we've heard another bang in there, and then we've heard footsteps running across the gym. And I thought, there's got to be this is too good to be true. There's got to be somebody in there. So I've looked into the gym with Mike, and I've shouted to Mike, look, Mike, over by the boxing ring. There's a guy by the boxing ring. You can see him. It was an outline, it was a shadow. And bear in mind, this gym was pitch black. It was dark as anything. But there was light coming in, and you could see, there were some lights coming in from different areas, and you could make out the equipment and the shape of different things. And this guy was just standing there, not moving, standing completely still. That was it. I said to the guy, have you got the key? He threw us the keys. He went, you go. I'm not going down there. You go. So I'd seen it. Mike had seen it. So we knew that we kind of verified it with each other. And like I said, Mike's a properly trained policeman or police officer. He knows what to look for. He's not a fool. He's on the ball. So we went down there. We went into the gym. Nothing in there. No man. Walked over to where we thought he was. Not there. Looked around. Nothing. Anyway, we said to the guy, right, okay, so we're going to do this recce. We're going to go inside and we're going to do this sort of mini investigation to give us some information as to what's going on. Now, the girl upstairs had said to us that, and this is sort of a quite a significant thing, and this is something that happens a lot. And if you're an investigator or you know anything about the paranormal, you know that that spirit or some spirit energies are known to move things, and when they move things from one area to another, it's called an apport. When it's removed, it's an apport. When it's taken back, it's called an apport. And what it means is that spirit has the ability to move energy, because everything's an energy. The phone's an energy, I'm an energy, the tree's an energy, everything is energy. But spirit have got a way, because they're pure energy, of manipulating the environment. So they can move something through what some scientists believe is to up to a fourth dimension. And I'm not going to get into it, but they believe that they can move things. Which is why people say, I put my keys there, I can't find them. And then a week later, they turn up somewhere completely unusual. Seen it lots and lots of times, even been witness to it myself. So, that's taken out of the equation that people forget where they put things, or they just gone a bit whatever, put something down and busy concentrating on something else. Anyway, I digress. So myself and Mike went into the gym and I took this Ovilus, and so I got into the gym and I thought of questions to ask. Now the Ovilus came out with the word murder, then it came out with the word I've been murdered. It's a sentence, guys. Not meant to do sentences. So okay. Walking around, started asking more questions. I asked, does anybody know? And there was it came up, and I know it sounds incredulous, I know, but this is what happened. And it came out with police records. I don't know what that meant. So this, I think, I can't tell you it was for definite because I'm not that type of guy, but I know that this was unusual. This was completely and utterly outside of our reality. This just things like this don't happen. Well, they do clearly, but for normal Joe in the street, normal person, things like this don't happen. So then I walked around again, and Mike was getting hits on his investigation, bits that he was doing. He was getting positive hits on, which means that he was having some form of interaction. And I sat down and I thought, I'm going to think of a question. And the question I'm going to think of, I'm not going to, because spirit is said to be able to read your mind. Again, everything's an energy, guys. They're an energy, purest form. They can access it. So in my head, I thought, do you know what? The question that came up was, do you move things? And I thought, I'm not going to mention it. And there's this thought just coming in my head, do you move things? And then before I could even finish my thought, or right on the edge of me finishing my thought, it came forward. I hide things. I hide things. How incredible is that? And this was through the Ovilus. Again, guys, it broke its bank. It was doing something it wasn't designed to do. It was coming out with sentences. It was also putting words in that weren't there. So it was kind of like you were having this sort of kind of broken but sort of back and forth conversation with the spirit energy. That's what I believe. And we kind of pieced it together that was some, we don't know, it was gang activity or whatever, and there was an unrecorded death of somebody who was murdered and they weren't found, but the police have got them on record. Anyway, again, that's all supposition. That's the sort of stuff that we came up with, purely and simply by piecing things together. Now, as I say, Mike is not the type of guy, lovely guy, a really good friend, but not the type of chap to run off with the theories. He's very, very down the middle and very positive on the things that he does. He's not the type of person to just go off into fantasy land, and neither am I. If you know me, you'll know by now that I consider any kind of aspect of paranormal activity, and I need to rigorously test it and check it out before I consider it even passable. And even then, I might not put it forward as evidence, because if it doesn't meet my criteria, then I wouldn't expect it to meet anybody else's. But yeah, so that's the story really. We came back from there and we went back to do an investigation with the team. I think there was 5 of us on the main investigation, and yeah, we did have activity. We heard footsteps around the, and this was at night when everything was locked down, but there wasn't as much as there was when Mike and myself were there. And I don't know. I mean, we had women with us, and don't get me wrong, there's women boxers, of course there are, but whether these guys or whether this spirits just weren't, and I think it was probably one really, but whether this person wasn't used to being around women because it was sort of a maybe that's wrong to say male environment, but because it was mainly men that went there, and it was happy to sort of converse with us, maybe it felt that female energies were a little bit too delicate. I don't know. Again, it's all supposition. But that's it, guys. So I'd like to say thank you for listening, if you have. I hope you enjoyed that story, and I'm going to now go off and enjoy the rest of my holiday here in Sherwood Forest. I'm going to get Lily out for a lovely walk around the woods, and hopefully we won't run into any outlaws. It doesn't matter anyway, because I've got no money. Probably end up joining them. Lily could be one of the merry men, couldn't she, or the merry dogs? Right, okay, guys. So goodbye from myself and Lily. Lily? Where are you? There's Little. Hello, Little. So it's goodbye from myself and Lily's eye, and I'll speak to you all later, guys. See you later. Bye. Let's go walkies.